The most dangerous lie you'll ever hear is, a high salary will make you rich. That's not true. Income is just a vanity measure. Net worth is the measure of sanity. In the next few minutes, I'll show you two people living on the same floor, in the same building, but on two completely different paths to their destinies. One is a master of the game, the other is a high-performance slave to the system. If you're earning six figures but still feel like you're drowning in monthly debt, this video is your lifeline. In this video, we'll expose 9 meticulously calculated traps designed by the financial matrix to keep you working until you're 70. I'll demonstrate why every dollar you spend at age 35 is actually $7 stolen from your future. Stop looking at your bank balance and start looking at your exit date. Are you making a lot of money but still drowning in bills? Please comment below with your age and what trap is stifling your freedom. Phase 1. The silent executioners. The difference between the elite and the average is not their ability to earn. It is their ability to resist the social gravity of the upgrade. Let us examine apartment 4A and 4C. Marcus in 4A earns $7,000 more per year than Daniel in 4C. By every metric of the system, Marcus is winning. He drives a $58,000 BMW. He just spent $74,000 on a kitchen renovation. He looks like the hero of a lifestyle magazine. But inside the walls of 4A, there is a silent rot. Marcus and Jess open their mail standing up because they are too anxious to sit down with it. They flip through the envelopes, see the logos of the creditors, and set them face down. They are not living a life. They are servicing a debt load. Daniel in 4C is the invisible elite. He drives a paid-off Subaru. His kitchen has the original 2009 cabinets. While Marcus is admiring his Italian range, Daniel is staring at a retirement calculator that shows he can stop working forever at age 51. The first law of the visionaries is understanding the savings rate math. If you save 10% of your income, the system has you for 51 years. That is the standard prison sentence. If you save 50%, your sentence is reduced to 17 years. Every dollar you spend on a lifestyle upgrade today is a trade. You are trading your future freedom for a temporary hit of dopamine. Under the 4% rule, your retirement number is 25 times your annual expenses. Therefore, every dollar you remove from your monthly burn is $25 you do not have to earn in your target fund. Trapped asset number 1, the housing upgrade. The most common financial suicide in your 30s is the mid-career home upgrade. You have kids, you feel successful, and the bank tells you that you qualify for a $500,000 mortgage. The difference between a modest $350,000 home and the $500,000 upgrade is roughly $775 a month. The average person sees $700. The builder sees $1.7 million. If you take that difference and match the historical 10% return of the S&P 500 over 30 years, you have created a 7-figure chasm. Let us be precise about the math of the elite. When I speak of millions, I am talking about inflation-adjusted purchasing power. Even if the value of the dollar shifts over 30 years, your share of the global economy, your equity, remains the ultimate shield. By locking that capital into a house, you are losing the battle against the hidden tax of inflation. Historically, residential real estate returns between 3 and 5%. The stock market returns 10. When you lock your capital into a primary residence, you are trapping your wealth in a low-return asset and paying interest for the privilege. Over 18 million American households are house poor. They do not live in mansions. They live in perfectly normal houses that have consumed their entire financial margin. They are not homeowners. They are glorified caretakers for the bank. Trapped asset number 2, the luxury car engine. The average car payment in America has crossed $750. 1 in 5 people is paying over $1,000 a month for a machine that loses 20% of its value the second the tires touch the street. Within 5 years, that $45,000 status symbol is worth $18,000. The elite understand that a car is a utility, not a personality. Thomas Stanley's research on actual millionaires proved that 37% drive used cars. They are not interested in performing success for people they do not like. The BMW in the garage of apartment 4A is not a vehicle. It is a wealth destruction device with heated seats. The insurance on a luxury vehicle is 63% higher. The maintenance is a tax on vanity. When you choose the used alternative and invest the $22,000 difference, you are not just saving money, you are buying years of your life back. You are choosing to own your time rather than owning a badge on a steering wheel. Trapped asset number 3, the insurance mirage. In your 30s, as you realize your own mortality, the insurance industry sends a wolf in a tailored suit to sell you whole life insurance. They call it an investment, they call it responsible, they are lying. A whole life policy is 5 to 15 times more expensive than term life insurance for the exact same death benefit. Where does the extra $400 a month go? It goes to the agent's commission, which can be up to 100% of your first-year premiums. The cash value grows at a pathetic 2 to 3%, while the world's greatest companies in the S&P 500 are growing at 10. Worst of all, if you die, the insurance company often pockets the cash value you spent decades building and only pays the death benefit. It is the timeshare of the finance world. Buy term, invest the rest, and recover $300,000 of your net worth instantly. Before we move into the lifestyle traps, I have a question for you. Look at your driveway and your kitchen. Are you building a monument to your ego, or are you building a fortress for your family? If you are a builder who prioritizes freedom over status, comment builder below. If you are realizing you have been a performer, comment awake. Let the community know where you stand. Phase 2. The lifestyle illusions. We must now discuss the Riveras. Marco and Elena earn $140,000. They are the quintessential upper-middle-class couple. They are not irresponsible. They do not have a boat. Yet, after taxes, their mortgage, their Audi lease, their SUV payment, and their whole life insurance, they are $250 in the hole every month before they buy a single bag of groceries. They are trapped by their fixed costs. Elena looks at Zillow listings for smaller homes late at night because she knows they are one bad month away from a total collapse. This is the reality of the 9 mistakes. Each one is defensible in isolation. Together, they are a cage. This is what we call the velvet prison. It looks beautiful from the outside, but the bars are made of monthly payments. Trapped asset number 4, the private school fallacy. This is the most emotionally charged trap on the list. We are told that private school is an investment in our children's future. The data says otherwise. A University of Virginia study of 1,300 children found that once you control for family income and parental education, every academic advantage of private school disappears. What predicts success is not a building with a Latin motto. It is a stable, engaged home environment and proximity to opportunity. Spending $33,000 a year on tuition is not buying an education. It is buying a social club. If you invested that tuition instead, you would have enough to fund their college and retire early enough to actually be present during their formative years. The greatest gift you can give a child is not a blazer with a crest. It is a parent who is not drowning in stress. Trapped asset number 5, the renovation trap. HGTV has convinced a generation that a kitchen remodel is a wise financial move. Remodeling Magazine proves it is a bloodbath. An upscale kitchen remodel returns only 39 cents on the dollar at resale. You spend $149,000 to get back $58,000. The rest disappears into designer tiles that will be out of style in 48 months. Then there is the pool. It is a $70,000 hole in the ground that adds $6,000 in resale value and costs $4,000 a year to maintain. To a buyer, it is a liability they have to insure and clean. To you, it is an anchor sitting in the middle of your retirement account. If you want to renovate for profit, fix the garage door and the entry door. Everything else is just a very expensive hobby. Trapped asset number 6, the toy tax, boats and RVs. The 2 happiest days of a boat owner's life are a cliche because the math is a tragedy. A new boat costs $42,000 and $10,000 a year to maintain. If you use it 20 days a year, you are paying $500 a day for the privilege of being a captain. RVs are worse. They lose 30% of their value in the first year. They are depreciating assets that require storage, insurance, and constant repair. The elite do not own these assets, they rent them. Renting an experience wins every single time because you keep the capital and someone else handles the engine failure. This is the principle of access over ownership. The rich own the assets that pay them, and they rent the assets that cost them. Wealth is often a lonely road, and the pressure to keep up with the Marcuses of the world can be exhausting. Have you ever felt the weight of a purchase you made just to fit in? Have you ever felt the lifestyle creep suffocating your dreams? Share your story in the comments. This is a safe space for the visionaries to admit their mistakes and pivot toward power. Phase 3. The stealth bleeds. We have covered the massive structural traps. Now we look at the microscopic cuts that lead to a financial death by 1,000 paper stabs. Trapped asset number 7. The fee industry. If you have an actively managed mutual fund, you are likely part of the 91% of people underperforming the S&P 500. You are paying a 1% expense ratio for the privilege of losing to a robot. Over 30 years, that 1% difference can cost you $1 million. The same applies to extended warranties. The industry is worth $147 billion. It is a massive transfer of wealth from people who are anxious to corporations who are greedy. 65% of buyers spend more on the warranty than they ever get back in repairs. Stop buying certainty from people who profit from your fear. Real security comes from a thick investment portfolio, not a piece of paper from a retailer. Trapped asset number 8. The brand name tax. Why are you paying $15 for Advil when the generic version is $4? The FDA requires them to be bioequivalent. The active ingredient is identical. You're not paying for better medicine, you are paying for the television commercials that told you to buy the name brand. Generic brands cost 40% less across every category from cleaning supplies to pantry staples. A family shifting to store brands can save $3,000 a year. Invested at 7% for 30 years, that recognizable logo on your pasta box just cost you $250,000. Your future self does not care about the label, they care about the freedom. Trapped asset number 9. Subscription creep. The average person underestimates their subscription spending by 146%. They think they spend $100. They actually spend nearly $300. This is not an accident. It is engineering. Streaming services, gym memberships you do not visit, and apps you forgot you downloaded are designed to be sticky. They make it difficult to cancel because they know that most people are too busy to fight through 3 confirmation screens. Canceling $200 in unused services and investing it creates nearly $250,000 over 30 years. Go through your bank statement tonight. If you did not consciously choose to pay for it this month, kill it. The ultimate truth of wealth is that it is a game of time, not just money. Marcus and Jess in apartment 4A are not stupid. They are normal. They did exactly what their social circle, their bank, and their culture told them to do. They built a beautiful facade. But at age 55, when they look at their retirement balance, they will realize they spent their most powerful years of compound interest building someone else's empire. Daniel and Sophia in 4C drove the Subaru. They kept the original countertops. They chose the public school. But here is the secret victory. Daniel does not have a designer kitchen, but he has the luxury of time. Every morning he watches the steam rise from his coffee, taking 45 minutes to simply exist and plan his day, while Marcus is already screaming at a steering wheel in the middle of a 2-hour commute to pay for a kitchen he only sees at night. Daniel did not sacrifice his happiness. He sacrificed his ego, and in exchange he bought the rarest commodity on earth, the ability to say no to anyone at any time for the rest of his life. As for those of you still watching, here is the final hard truth that no one else will tell you. Financial freedom is not about the number in your bank account. It is about the gap between your ego and your income. The wider that gap, the faster you fly. If you can earn like a CEO but live like a successful manager, you are mathematically invincible. The system cannot touch you. The Fed cannot inflate you away. You have broken the matrix. If you have stayed until the end, you are part of the elite 1% of people who actually finish what they start. To confirm you are awake and ready to implement these laws, comment the words "I am a builder" below. This is our secret password for this session. It tells me and the community that you are no longer a victim of the system. If this analysis provided real value to your life, do the honorable thing. Like this video, subscribe, and share this with one person who is currently drowning in the middle-class trap. Let us build a community of visionaries who value reality over appearance. The path to the 1% is right in front of you. Click the video on your screen now to learn the next level of wealth mastery. We will see you there.